G'day YouTube, my name's Lance. Welcome to Bundy Bear Shed. Well, the weather report, hot and muggy. Look, it's about 30 today, 31, and the evening temperature was about 21. It was quite warm. I had the aircon on last night, and yeah, full moon at the moment. So yeah, it was bright as buggery outside, real good. But we got through the week last week, we got about 24 mil of rain. Ross, that works for us, he lives a bit further north, he got 34, and Nicole, it's about 40 kilometres north, she got 44, so it must have been just up north of us there a little bit, but it's quite muggy. It's about 11 o'clock in the morning. The stew's, I'm a bit late filming the stew this week. I got into the engine, you know, the 65 engine yesterday, and I started filming, and I was going to work on the John Deere and try and get that clear, but my parts didn't turn up. So I thought, well, that'll give me an opportunity to work on the 65. So we filmed a few videos on the 65, a few episodes. We've got fitting the injector pipes and just how I like to take the tension out of the lines. So injector pipes and exhaust manifold, fitting the sump, big heavy bastard. Bloody nearly cut stainless steel washers off my ring lifting that on. And then we've done how to fit the rear crank seal, the rear main seal. We've done the video on how to do the front crank seal, and I've just been over in the bay here, in the service bay where the boat's been. I've got the front axle sitting there, and bloody thing. Here's my air hose, or what's left of it. There's a bit of a thing there. And anyway, I was doing a little video on surface preparation, and I'm using some of that CRC rust converter, and gee, it's good stuff. I'm quite impressed. And when you get the housing as clean as you can, you know, all the scale and all the flaky rust and anything else off, and even sandblasting it, you can put this stuff on and it neutralises any rust. Now, you wouldn't think there'd be much rust when you finish, but I've been doing bits of tests with it, and the housing looks really nice. And if I've got a piece sanded on the corner of the axle, and you know, I've gone down under the normal surface finish to get marks out, well, the stuff hardly sticks to it. It goes on, but it hardly sticks. But if it's just a tiny bit of surface rust, it etches into that rust and neutralises it. So anyway, I thought before I've been quite impressed with it. So I thought before I'd do a video on how I do my surface preparation. So I have a stub axle or a kingpin assembly that I hadn't painted or anything. So when I filmed the front axle, and remember, if I made all those bushes, and I put a heap of work into that axle, and I got the kingpin and the hub all assembled, but I didn't get the other side sorted out. I sort of half finished it, and then I moved on to other stuff just to keep the series going. But so today I've been playing around with that, and I'm just ready to slide it all together. But I had it on a stand, and I'm just sorting it out, and yeah, bloody thing rolled off the stands and straight onto the air hose. Hit the 5 litre pot of rust converter, didn't break it. Gee, I'm lucky there. And but yeah, so I've had to take time off then and fix my air hose and do all that sort of thing. So not to worry. On this week's stew, I told you last week that some of that rust converter spray stuff, like the rust remover, the spray gel, the Evaporust spray gel. The stew was long enough last week without putting that segment in, so I'm going to sneak the segment in this week. It's only a few minutes worth, but it seemed to work okay. And I'll probably go handheld and just show you a little bit of what I'm doing. Getting the front end ready. Now, I've just cleaned up the oil filter housing. I'll do a little video on the oil filter housing on the 65, just to show people how to put it together, nothing more. It's about as basic as it gets, that part of it. But the block now needs a good wash down with a petrol rag and thinners and make sure all the gasket goo's gone. I need to run along where any gaskets can be seen, the sump gasket and all that. I usually run along with a blade, a Stanley knife or something, and get rid of all that. Any dregs of gasket glue on the outside of the engine, there's always some that squeezes out. I've got to get rid of all that. And probably on the stand there, I will just undercoat it. Just put a bit of undercoat on just to seal it up and it can sit. But then the next move is to, where the tractor is here now, is move that backwards. I've got a bit of room to go back, and we're going to put the front axle just in front of the bench here. We're going to put the engine on and we're going to start working our way back again. So that engine took a long time, and Jude and I haven't talked about it, and I sort of couldn't get into it after we went away for my sister's funeral last August, September. I couldn't just get my mind around it, to do the videos properly, so we sort of didn't do them. We had plenty to do around the place. We were just very busy around the place, but I just couldn't concentrate on that one job. So the wheels turned and I'm sort of wound up again now. I feel good about it, and we're starting to move on. The John Deere 1640, now I put out a couple of videos last week on resealing the hub. There was 3 parts just to keep it around half-hour videos, and I was going to just put rubbers on the steering knuckles for those that watch them, but look, they do have a bit of wear in them and rust in them and all that, so I had a look on the Sparex site and they had them available, so I've ordered new tie rod ends, new steering knuckles, and I was hoping they were here. I was going to put them on this weekend, film putting it on and doing the toe in and all that sort of thing with the 4-wheel drive, but they won't be here till tomorrow. I chased them up earlier, and about the 10th they reckon it'll be in, so I just left the 1640 there. I probably could have put the wheels on, taken it outside and done my wheel swap and mucked around, but I thought, I just didn't feel like doing extra work, back and forth with the wheels and things like that, then take them off again and all that. And the benefit of all this will be that the 65 engine has been finished off, and we've just done a few other things, and I'm starting on the front axle. Now this afternoon I'm hoping to give everything a wipe over, and the front axle, the kingpin housings, the front hubs and all will be primed, and I may prime the engine. It just depends how far I get, and I can start bolting that front axle together on the bolster, get all that set up and adjusted. And if you remember, I used to have it on a pallet on the forklift, so I'm going to finish that front axle off. That's done. Then I'm going to bolt it to the front of the engine. I'm going to put it all on stands, bolt it to the front of the engine, and we can start moving back. Once I get the engine out of the stand, I can put the adapter housing on, the flywheel can go on, the new clutch can go on. On the front bolster, I've got a radiator to put on. I've got to clean the fan and all that, so I can't do an awful lot there at the moment. I've gone about as far as I can on the stand, so we'll try and get it all primed up, and we'll start putting the front together and working our way back. Next thing to come off is the steering box, and under that of course is the gearbox, the 6-speed box, so we're going to work all through them. The steering box, we're not expecting much to be good in there. It's got a lot of slop, so we'll see. On the other boxes, the 165s and that, the bearings coming down the shaft, they're loose in the housings all the time. So yeah, I don't know if this is going to be the same or not, but we're going to go through that. But yeah, at the moment I just need to finish off those front ends and just get it so I can start bolting pieces together again, and yeah, we can just start working back section by section by section. So I'm looking forward to it again. We'll see how we go. I do have the fence to finish off up the front there, and I would have been up there this weekend on the Sunday or yesterday. If the loader was going, I could have pulled the old post out, and that I was going to put a day into the fence. So with the loader not being available, well, it's probably, for those who've been hanging around private messaging me, the messages I get, you wouldn't believe it. When are you going to do some of the 65? You know, and at the moment I'm going through, there's someone there that every video I put out almost, there's a dislike. I don't know why. It'd be good if you put a dislike, you had to put, you know, because you look like a dickhead, or you had to put a reason, and then you'd know you could fine tune the channel or do what you like, but I don't know what goes on. But anyway, look, we'll keep the stew short. I'll put the piece in about the Evaporust gel, where I cleaned up the tool, and the tool was for the final drives on the 65, so we've got that all tidied up ready for when we get there. And I'll go handheld. I'll show you the engine, what I'm up to with that, and I'll take you for a quick walk around where I'm doing the axle. And yeah, look, it'll probably be a pretty short stew, but short stew this week probably means more content through the week. Well, I know there's 4 videos done. 1, 2, well, there's 5 videos done on the 65 so far. So after the stew, I'm hoping just to do a quick video on assembling the oil filter housing. And there's nothing in them. They don't have a relief valve like on the TE20s or you know, 35s, things like that. They just have a filter bypass, and that's it. It's just pop it together. So there'll be a quick little video on the oil filter housing, and I will bolt it onto the side of the engine. And yeah, look, that'll be it. So look, a bit of a short one, I'm thinking, but we'll tack little bits and pieces on, and as I think of stuff through the day, yeah, we'll bang her on and we'll have a bit of a look and see. So thanks for dropping by. Stay tuned for the little tidbits at the end, and yeah, look, we'll catch you all next week, eh? Well, I'm cleaning up the shed here, just getting a bit of bench space so I can film putting the hub together on the John Deere and things like that. And I have this tool here. Now this tool I bought with a bit of Massey Ferguson stuff, and it's for setting up planetaries and getting the planetary right. But unbeknownst to me, last time when I cleaned the shop out, a bit of spray, rusty spray, got up onto the other side here. So I'd like to tidy that up and keep this in good order. It's a tool that'll be worth its weight in gold in when it comes to doing the job. Now, CRC have a product called Evaporust, and this is a bath. You put this stuff in a plastic pot or something like that, a non-ferrous item, and you fill it up and you submerge whatever part you'd like to have done. But last time the CRC rep was there, he said, "Here, Lance, give this a go." So this is a Evaporust rust remover spray gel. Clings to surfaces, powerful, non-scrubbing. So on the back it says safe on chrome, copper, brass, aluminium, vinyl and most plastics. Evaporust is non-caustic, non-flammable and contains no petroleum. Directions: reading tyre label before use. Pre-clean item if it's dirty or oily, and remove loose scaly rust. Well, I don't have any loose scaly rust. It's just like a surface rust at this stage. For best results, do not use in direct sunlight. Apply Evaporust spray gel to the surface to be treated as a heavy film. Allow at least 2 hours to work with heavily rusted items, or heavily rusted items will require longer. Rinse with water and dry with a cloth. If Evaporust spray gel dries on the surface, a soft brush and water may be required to remove it. Heavy rusted items may require repeat application. So, I've got it in a plastic pot here. I'm just going to give it a good old shake up. That's the look at the nozzle. And we'll give it a nice heavy coat. I'll come around the other side and just check that we haven't missed anything. Okay, that looks like a substantial amount, I believe. So we're going to pop the top on here. A little bit of weight on it. And we'll come back in a couple of hours and we'll see what sort of job it done. But this is the first time ever I've used this stuff. I like that for cleaning drills and taps and dies, so this will be a first for this one. Well, there you go. I've just been over and rinsed the Evaporust off. Now, you can see through there. I'll just shift the monitor so I can see what you can see. So it's left the paint on through here, but there's no surface rust. But on this side here, there is a little bit of surface rust, a little bit of rust there that you can feel still, and a little bit there. Yet this side's cleaned up nicely. So what I'm going to do from here is, look, it's pretty good. Like if it was all like that, I would certainly be happy. But on this side here, where those two heavier stained parts are, there's a little bit of staining here too, and a little bit there. Now they have texture to them, those ones. But what I did over, I've got a little Bunnings brush set, and I just gave it a little bit of scrub, as they said to, to scrub it off. So I'm going to give it another go, and we'll see how it goes. I just like to get rid of these little bits so they don't get worse as time goes by. Better give them a good shake up. But you would have thought it had a lot in there, in that little container there, in that groove. Okay, we'll let that go for a bit. I might come in at half time and just give it a bit of a rattle like that. Oh look, you can see that. You see the foam going rusty there? So it probably just needs a little help. I just let it sit before. So I'll give it a little bit of a scratch. Leave the thing there. I'll just cover up where I've been. Alright, we'll have a look in a little while, eh? Well, there you go. Look, that's pretty good. I'm fairly happy with that. I did put it in the second time. There's a couple of little rust stains there, and I'm actually going to check and where that other bit of rust was there. So it may have to eat into that a bit yet, but look, I'm happy with that. I'm just going to wire brush any of that down, I believe. But yeah, look, it looks good. It's certainly back to being a nice serviceable tool, which is what I needed. And that's with the Evaporust rust remover. I'll pull him out of there a bit. That fella there. Now, I have sprayed it with a bit of 336 heavy duty penetrant just so it didn't rust. So I took it out, I took it over, I scrubbed it with that little stainless brush. I got everything I could off. Yeah, look, and it looks okay. Look, that's certainly a usable tool. Now I just have to wrap it in a rag, oily rag, oil it all up, and it'll be ready for when we get to the 65 final drives. Okay, that's where the engine's up to at the moment. We've got the manifold on, the injector pipes on, the front and rear crank seals are on, the sump is on. It needs a bit of a tidy up down through there, get that gasket goo off, and that's dribbled down from having it upside down fitting the sump, but that's no worries. The rear engine seal is on, it's all fitted up in there. So once we can swing, actually I haven't put the housing for the tacho on, and I do have it here. If you recall, I actually made the thread and all because we couldn't buy one at the time, but I'll have to have a look and see if I have the seal for that. I should have it here somewhere, but I probably should do that and tape the thread up and yeah, but the engine's coming along. I've got to get a couple of bolts for up on top of that water pump. I thought I bought some and I've been looking for them, and I'll bug it if I know what I did with them. But anyway, won't matter. And once the engine's off the stand and hooked onto the front axle, well, this little pile of stuff here, as in the backing plate for the engine and the clutch and flywheel assembly, can all be looked at. I have a brand new clutch for it. I may run through this one though. We'll just see. Yeah, yet to make the mind up with that. The fan's there. The fan can be cleaned up and put on. And there's a water pump in there off the 65, and I was talking to Sparex, I've got a new kit to put through just to show people how to do that. Okay, we're all set up in the hoist bay, so I've got a few bits of water pipe there, and these are steering knuckles, and that's your axle support. So now they've all been through the bead blast or the sand blaster over there, yet when you put that that rust converter on, and that's, I'll come around here, that's that stuff there, it goes all black, and you can see the whole axle here is black with that. That's the hub that's masked up, and yeah, that's ready to prime now. Put a bit of Bearco primer on, so that's sitting up the right way now. Yes, I'm at the back of the axle now, so the axle needs turning over and sorting out. Hopefully I don't drop the bloody thing again. So where it sits there, I'll prime it with a bit of Bearco primer, that primer grey there, and yeah, that's all ready to tidy up and poke in the hole and bolt up and prime. And the whole front bolster assembly, I'll just shift this lead, the whole front bolster is all primed up, ready to go. So yeah, I really need to get that up the other way, and I may get the little engine crane going and just sling it, or on the forky or something, and yeah, we'll get this piece, that piece, and these pieces all assembled into one unit, and I'll make a little lifting sling or something that we can lift it around and get it ready to bolt the engine on. But it all needs to go grey first, and we've got to seal it all up so the rust can't take over. I've got to put the arm on there, that's him on the stool there, and all nice new hubs and things like that. So yeah, so that's not much to film there really, but anyway, it's part of the restoration that has to be done. So we've covered kingpin bushes and bearings and front wheel bearings, and bushing the axle, and yeah, doing the bushes in that tower there and all that. So we've done a lot of videos on it, but it'll just take us a little while to get it all together.